Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals.com. It's Sunday, September 29th, 2013. Welcome to this edition of Tank Talk. Sorry I'm a little bit behind on the Tank Talk episodes, but been a little busy. If you haven't seen our videos about the 240-gallon African cichlid tank overhaul, check those out. They've been a lot of fun. We got a lot of really good information on there. Share it with your friends. It's been so much fun. It's still not completely done. These kind of projects are never really done, but we've had a blast with it. I'm uploading all kinds of videos on that series, so go check those out. Share them with your friends. This is going to be fun. So I want to tell you about something real quick, and then we're going to get into a really good topic of the day, and that is a video that came out last week. Hopefully you've watched it. A lot of people have. Quick tips with Lisa. Now this is a new thing that we're doing. I want and I need to get Lisa more involved in this channel. A lot of you keep asking for her to get involved in the channel too. So she is going to be putting out these really quick, short little videos with some really good information that we get asked all the time in the store, so that I don't have to ramble on about them before we get into our topics of the day on Tank Talk. She's going to take care of all of those, and they'll be in separate little videos called Quick Tips with Lisa. So be looking for those. We're excited about that. She's having fun. She's still a little nervous, but she's getting much more comfortable and better. Thank you guys. Well, there's a couple of them I don't want to thank, but thank you for your positive comments on those videos. She was a little nervous at first, but she's getting comfortable and having fun, so thank you for that. Let's get into a really big topic of the day. The topic of the day today is cycling and aquarium. Now, if you search online, you're going to find a million different threads, videos, and articles all about cycling and aquarium. But what I'm going to try to do here today is keep it simple. That's my way. That's what I do. I try to keep things simple so that you're not overwhelmed with all these different scientific terms and all of this other junk that you don't even need to know. What you need to know is what the cycling process is and how to deal with it. So, the cycling process is the buildup of beneficial bacteria in your aquarium. Beneficial bacteria is what breaks down toxins in the water, making it safe for your fish. Toxins like ammonia and nitrite. These are two of the biggest fish killers. Your beneficial bacteria is what keeps them at bay. So bacteria in this case is not a bad word. It's a word that we like, and we want to promote that beneficial bacteria. This is why you see anything that has bio attached to it, bio balls, bio wheels. These are all things that promote the growth of beneficial bacteria, because you can never have too much of it. It's always a good thing. A good healthy tank will have plenty of beneficial bacteria in it, and those things are going to be what keeps the water healthy. So, what happens during this whole process? Okay, so before we talk about the process of how the whole cycle works, I'm going to give you one of the best pieces of advice I've ever given you. Put it in your head. Make this part of your plan. Go out and buy a test kit so that you can test all of these things on your own. Don't be cheap. Get one of those master test kits that tests for ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, and pH. Go get all of that. Stop messing around. Let's do this right. So, get your test kit. What are you going to expect to see when you're cycling your aquarium? The first thing that you're going to expect to see is a spike of ammonia. The reason why that's happening is because you don't have any beneficial bacteria in your aquarium that's built up to a point where it can combat that ammonia. So ammonia is going to spike. When it does, don't panic. A lot of people say, well, I need to start doing water changes. I need to get all this out of here. Don't do that, because what we're waiting for is the beneficial bacteria to grow to a level where it can detoxify that ammonia and break it down, converting it into nitrite. So if you're siphoning and you're cleaning gravel and you're doing all of that, you're removing all of the bacteria that's just starting to build. So leave it alone. Let it grow, let it build to a point where it can break down that ammonia into nitrite. Now, are we done? When nitrite is there, when we get rid of ammonia, but now we have nitrite, does that mean we're done? No, because your bacteria still needs to build up to a point where it can break that down and convert that into nitrates. Now this is a process that can take some time. We're going to talk about some ways of speeding it up, but this can take some time for this to happen. It doesn't happen overnight. So again, to recap, The bacteria needs to build up to a point where it's going to break down ammonia, converting it to nitrite. And once it does that, it needs to build up even more to where it can convert the nitrite into nitrate. This whole process takes time. Don't think that you're going to rush your way through it. Now, you're saying, John, you stopped at nitrate. Well, what happens next? Well, there is no bacteria that's going to break down nitrate. You are going to break down nitrate. Folks, this is why we do water changes, is to keep nitrate levels at bay and keeping it safe for the fish. Doing water changes is what removes nitrates. Bacteria doesn't do that. Now, there are products that will help to keep nitrates at a more acceptable level, but we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about aquarium cycling. So ammonia breaks down to nitrite, nitrite breaks down to nitrate. We break down nitrate and get rid of that. That is the cycling process. I could have made it more complicated. I could have gone into more detail, but why? That's all you need to know. So buy a test kit, make sure you have that handy so that you can watch this whole process. And when your nitrates go up and then start to kind of work their way back down again, that's when you know that you're safe. You don't want to throw a bunch of brand new fish into a tank full of nitrates. You want to take care of that by starting to do your maintenance. But when the ammonia spikes and goes down, and the nitrite spikes and goes down, and it turns into nitrate, that's when you know the bacteria has done its job. So, can we make this happen faster? Yes, we can. That's what we're talking about next. There's a lot of ways to make this process go a lot faster and make this tank safe for fish quicker than if you just let it happen the natural way. One of the ways of doing that, I'm not really going to talk a whole lot about because I've never done it and I don't know how to do it. It is actually putting ammonia yourself into the aquarium. That's all I know. I don't know anything about it, never done that, so I'm not going to talk about it. Search that somewhere else. I wouldn't recommend it because it just seems weird to me when there's so many other easy ways of doing it. The easiest way to do this is to have a friend in the hobby. You're not doing this by yourself, are you? You've made some friends, you know people, or maybe you already have a tank and you're setting up a second tank or a 500th tank. The best way to do this and to make it go faster is to use items from an established tank. It could be use filter cartridges. They might be dirty, but so what? That's what we want. It could be using substrate from an existing aquarium. Substrate is a great place for beneficial bacteria to grow. Using things like rocks and things like that that are already have a nice buildup of beneficial bacteria on them, that's a great way to accelerate this process. And there are also products that can help with that. But before I go into that, I want to mention something that I believe is a big misconception by a lot of people. So many people have said to me, I wanted to instantly cycle my tank. So what I did was I took water from my existing tank and I put that in the new tank, and then I just did a water change in my old tank, and so I put all this water in there. It should be good. I don't understand why my tank didn't cycle faster. It's because this beneficial bacteria is not in the water, folks. It builds up on the surfaces in your aquarium. It's not in the water. So if you're putting water from an existing tank into a new one, it really serves no purpose whatsoever. All right? So take that out of the equation. That doesn't work. It's using filter cartridges, gravel, rocks, things like that. That is what's going to transfer beneficial bacteria from an existing tank into a new one. This is why, if you remember, if you watched my series about rebuilding this tank, I took the old substrate out of here and I put it down into my sump. That was to keep all that bacteria in there. Remember, bacteria isn't a bad word. Now, there's another way. My favorite is to use existing stuff, but maybe you're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have any friends that are doing this, you're on your own. What do? Well, there's some products that you can buy that will accelerate this process. Now, what I've used for years is the Nutrifin Cycle. It was my favorite product. We used it hundreds of times. We've also used API's Quick Start. The Nutrifin Cycle was my favorite, but you're going to find that that product is difficult to find now because Nutrifin has actually changed over. They're all owned by the Rolf C. Hagen Group, Rolf C. Hagen Company, they have changed it over to Fluval. I'm not doing a commercial here, folks, but if you're seeing this in your local pet stores and you're not seeing Cycle anymore, that's because they have changed the name over to Fluval, and so this is taking place of the Nutrifin Cycle, my favorite product for doing this. What this is beneficial bacteria in a bottle, all right? If you put this into your aquarium, you are basically supplementing the beneficial bacteria into the aquarium. You're introducing live bacteria, which will dramatically accelerate the process of the buildup of that bacteria. So this is a great product to use. I put a bottle of this in here, half one day, half the next day in here. Now this is an established tank, but with all the work I did on it and all the new things that I put on it, I wanted to help it out. I didn't want there to be any kind of shock, so I put this, a whole bottle of this, into this aquarium. I haven't lost a fish, and we rarely lose fish when we're cycling new tanks, and really all we do is use that product, because we're not usually cycling one tank. We're usually doing 70 or 80 at a time. So I can't take gravel and all this stuff out of existing tanks. I got to do something else. So we use this. It was the Nutrifin, but now it's Fluval. So I definitely highly recommend that product. It works really well. If you have no other alternatives, if you don't have anything that you can grab from your buddy or you know, even a pet store, you know, you can say, hey, can I have one of your old filter cartridges? They might do it. I don't know. I've never given one to anybody, but I suppose you could do that. So that's the best way to explain the cycling process. I hope I haven't sent your head spinning. I hope it makes more sense to you now. It's not an overly complicated process, folks. It's very simple. Buy yourself a test kit. Get one so that you know where you are in the process. Get some of this, and hey, best of both worlds, get some things from your friend's aquarium or your aunt's aquarium or whoever it is, a couple of handfuls of gravel, an old filter cartridge, something like that, and get a bottle of this with it. Both of those things together, you will almost instantaneously cycle an aquarium. I got to throw this in here real quick. Another really good thing, if you're planning on getting an aquarium and you're not going to be able to have it for another month or so, go out and buy your filter. Take your filter to your friend's house, put it on his tank, and let it run on his tank for the month that it takes you to get your tank. That is going to work wonders, folks, because when you set your tank up, you're going to be able to go to your friend's house, pick that filter up, put it on yours. That's another way to almost instantly cycle an aquarium. I've done it. It works. So that's it. I don't know any more that I can say about it. Thank you so much for watching this. Again, I apologize for missing an episode there, but this kept me pretty busy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel so you can watch this tank talk every week. We're having a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good day. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching Tank Talk. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss any episodes.